Confidence and courage are the essentials of success in carrying out our plan.
It is time to reawaken this industrial giant, to get government back within its means, and these will be our first priorities, and on these principles there will be no compromise.
Today marks our 100th day of working together for the American people. We've had some good debates, we've made some good progress, and it looks like we're going to pass some good law.
It's only been 100 days, but I have to tell you, I've never been more optimistic about the future in America. America's on the move again.
It has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country.
Presidents have been marking their first 100 days since Franklin Delano Roosevelt took office in 1933. During the start of his first term, FDR passed 15 major bills through Congress, including the establishment of public works projects, programs for impoverished Americans, and legislative action to help the United States' dire economic situation amid the Great Depression. Since then, presidents have tried to follow in FDR's footsteps by using their first 100 days to set the tone for the rest of their time in office. For more, let's bring in Alexis Coe. She's a presidential historian and senior fellow at New America, a nonpartisan think tank that focuses on a wide range of public policy issues. So, Alexis, we mentioned how this started. Why has it persisted? What makes the first 100 days significant?
FDR in 1933 obviously passed so much legislation in response to a real crisis, the Great Depression. And the media likes to cover it as a wonderful indication, it's true, of what's to come. We don't necessarily define a presidency by the first 100 days, and lots of important legislation comes after. But it sets the tone. It tells us how a president deals with executive authority. It sets forth their philosophy, if there was any confusion, which we don't have in this case. And it creates a framework which can be used throughout the administration.
I'm glad you mentioned tone. President John F. Kennedy ordered the failed Bay of Pigs invasion 87 days into his presidency. President Gerald Ford pardoned President Richard Nixon less than a month after taking office. President Barack Obama passed a multi-billion-dollar stimulus package a month into his presidency. So of all these things, positive and negative, they all had major effects on each of their presidencies. What tone do you think President Trump's first 100 days is setting?
Well, again, it's so hard to tell in the very beginning what 4 years will look like. 100 days, as we know, is not a lot of time, but it can feel like that. And certainly President Trump, with his 135 plus executive orders, it's felt like a lot has happened. But we have to remember there's a big difference between executive orders and legislative accomplishments. So executive orders, they're dramatic. They can happen in the Oval Office with the signature of the president, but that's not how government works, even if you try to dismantle most of it, which is, as I see it, the most important piece of information we've gotten from Donald Trump at this point, as well as that economic hardships, as we know from tariffs, we're already feeling it, and we will continue to feel it. But it does, at the same time, in Trump's case, create a lot of backlash. We've seen that he's already backed down from tariffs. There are numerous pending court cases that may challenge whatever he has accomplished. Elon Musk is stepping down and stepping back. So I'm not quite sure in the long term, not even just for the next 4 years, but for the next 40 years of America, if this can be undone with just someone else's signature, the next president's signature, then it's not really a lasting effect. Then we can't say, well, we can compare this to FDR, because FDR, some of the legislation he did pass during the first 100 days, it still matters. It's still relevant. It's still intact.
Alexis Coe, thank you.
Thank you.